The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial is back in the High Court in Pretoria. Of course, we understand that today, Mthokozisi, the friend to Senzo Meyiwa, is actually taking the stand. Today was his first day of testimony. Let's take you live to Manqoba Mchunu now in the High Court in Pretoria. He's been covering this trial for us. Manqoba, before we talk about what Twala said in his testimony so far, just take me through the drama from this morning, seeing the appearance of somebody very well known in this trial.
Well, certainly, Maseko, in fact, there was drama in court just before the proceedings got underway. And this is because one of the former advocates here in this trial, Malesela Tifo, who we know has since been disbarred, was here in court. In fact, he showed up in court. It was not clear who he had been representing or whether he was going to be on a watching brief for any of the families. Of course, many of the lawyers that were here in court, as well as the prosecutors, taking issue with him being here in court. He had then made a request, Maseko, to go and address the judge in his chambers. Of course, that request had been ventilated in court with the judge sending his registrar to ask the lawyers to ask the accused whether they would grant him that opportunity to address Malesela Tifo back in chambers. Of course, we understand that that issue has since ironed out. The proceedings did get underway with one of the people that was in the house at the time being called to the stand. And this is one of Senzo Meyiwa's friends, Mthokozisi, who we know was also there when Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed inside that particular homestead. So there was a bit of drama in court, Maseko, but what we do understand is that that issue has since been ironed out. We're not sure whether Malesela Tifo will still continue to be here in court and on what basis he will continue being here in court. But the proceedings, as you have seen, Maseko, they have proceeded, they have gone, and we're hearing testimony from one of those people that was also in the house in the form of Twala.
So what has he said so far in his testimony, Manqoba? He's talking basically, I picked up that he's speaking about days leading to that particular fateful day. He hasn't gotten to the day in October of 2014.
Indeed. In fact, what we've heard from Mthokozisi is just about their friendship with Senzo Meyiwa, which dates back to the time when both of them had been playing soccer back in KwaZulu-Natal. This is a time before Senzo Meyiwa had then moved to Johannesburg to play for Orlando Pirates development team at the time. But he says that their friendship continued even after that. He would come to some of Senzo Meyiwa's matches and he would watch and support Senzo Meyiwa. He spoke of the hours leading, of course, to that fateful day on the 26th of October. I think he started, his testimony back on the 25th of October, where he had gone to watch a match where Senzo Meyiwa had been playing, or Orlando Pirates had been playing with Ajax here in Johannesburg. He recalled how they then went to Soweto after that to drop off one of the fans who had been talking to Senzo Meyiwa. That's when there was a change of plan. They were meant to go to a party after that match, but there was a change of plan after Senzo Meyiwa had received a call. He later learned that that call had come from his then girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo, and that's where they then met with Kelly Khumalo at one of the garages in Soweto. They then proceeded to her house. That is where they spent the night, because he says that he wanted to go to his home in Katlehong, but because of the bad weather conditions, it was raining hard. They spent the night at Kelly Khumalo's house. The next day, he also recalled how they had to go to a party of one of the Orlando Pirates players, Roy Mahumadzi, who of course had invited Senzo Meyiwa at that party, but those plans also changed at last minute after Meyiwa had received a call. And we understand that from there he had then went back to drop Twala back at his home, only to fetch him a few hours later. And this is where he had then told him that they were going to fetch one of his friends, Tumelo Madlala. Of course, he still hasn't gotten to the gist of what happened on that day. And of course, to those hours leading to the shooting, it's still a build-up at this particular point, Maseko. I think we're going to hear those details when this matter resumes. It is expected to resume in a few minutes from now, and of course Twala expected to continue with his testimony.
All right. It's Manqoba Mchunu live for us there in the High Court in Pretoria. As you heard him, it resumes at 2 o'clock and we'll take you there live.